Hello and welcome everyone to another episode. Yes, so I've decided to make another kind of short video based on the mega ship construction. Yeah, so anyways, some basic tips and other things. One of the major things that I do when I build my mega ships, I'm sorry, I just wasn't looking. I wasn't liking how that looked. One of the basic things I do with my mega ship construction, you guys know that I basically kind of reuse the same craft to do multiple things, mostly because it's just easy. Overall, just incredibly easy. So, one of the things I kind of want to cover is basically how to get certain things into space and how to do that like effectively. With megaship construction, one of the major things that you really need to figure out very well is what pieces are you going to launch up, and how are you going to get it up there, and how are you going to assemble. Now, when you look at this design, this is a very basic engine design, but if you guys know, this is for the Dunabase Alpha. What it's going to have is 8 engines. So, because we're having 8 engines, they need to have some symmetry and everything else. You can see this is a little bit longer than this one, but whatever, I'm not going to fix it. Yeah. So, anyways, you really need to figure out what, if you guys looked at, like, Dunabase, my Dunabase launches, the first thing I launched up was the payload, and that is all that was up there. The second launch was the fuel, and now the third launch, which I'm going to have to do a series of 4 launches just to get all these engines up there, because it needs a lot of symmetry involved. So, each side needs an engine. I could possibly do 4 engines and then launch up 2 separate tanks, but still I'm going to have to do probably 4 launches in order just to get it there and everything else. I'm just, a lot of people might be thinking that I'm overdoing it. I just want to make sure I have enough fuel to get there. The main thing too is that even if I use too much fuel, I can, because each one of these cans also just basically has, if let's say I get there and I don't need all the fuel that I have, these cans, each one of them has a command module attached to it. Although it will die as far as electrically, it will stay in orbit. And, I could, if I launch another mission and, I run out of fuel or, whatever happens, I will be able to use that fuel. But one of the main things I go back to what I was saying, planning out your staging as far as what is going to be launched in each separate launch is going to be one of the major things that you need to figure out, because if you don't plan it out correctly, if you guys, it doesn't really work out so well. Not to mention, you also have to make sure that everything will fit, and it will fit perfectly. So, that's a lot of things that you need to take in mind, but overall, I don't, certain things you don't need to go too crazy about. I wasn't really going to show construction on this because I kind of built it before the video started. One of the other things I will mention, and this kind of works out for me, and this is just with this rocket design, so I don't know what kind of design you will be using to do your launch, like for your main vehicles and stuff like that, but if you look, I put one single strut on each side. There's 3 of them, and there's symmetry involved, and the strut runs from the basic, because basically this stage ends right here, if you see where the decoupler is, and this is just basically the docking stage for this entire craft. This structural support here with the what is this thing called again? Oh yeah, the strut. Well, yeah, structural connector with the strut connected. Yeah, this thing runs all the way basically down to the very bottom of the spacecraft. I mean, it ends right here, but that's pretty much good. And what this does is offer a lot of stability, because these stages will rock around in space, and there's a good chance that because it has happened to me, and it really does kind of seal the deal. It will hold your rocket together, your design a little bit better. Some people did say, oh yeah, well, you should use an orange tank. I tried that a couple times when I did a redesign on this entire launcher, and the orange tank worked, but once it started getting really wobbly and everything else, and you could see the pieces starting to move apart, the orange tank did not offer enough leeway. So what would end up happening is if it rocked too much, the whole rocket would explode. Whereas with these single tanks, they let it rock around a little freely, and you don't lose any stability really. It kind of you won't lose your payload or your rocket or anything. The other major thing that I always mention and I always tell everybody is to add your thermal gens, or if you really want to use solar panels, that's really up to you. I go with thermal gens just because you have a constant stream of power. It always will work. You don't have to worry that, okay, well, if I'm not at the right altitude, it's going to break off or something. These things will always be there. So they work out very well with launches like this. But as far as this thing, it doesn't have any of them. So because it doesn't, if this were ever jettisoned in space and it was just floating around, it would do nothing. But anyways, guys, I know it's kind of a short video, whatever, but yeah, I just kind of wanted to show you guys that, give you a little bit of what's going on. Probably my next video will be launching these things, or I don't even know, but whatever. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. If you haven't already, subscribe, check out my other videos, all that good stuff, the Facebook and the Twitters, and yeah, I will see you next time.